capable of taking care of themselves, let alone 4 kids. The bills never got paid. Our water is out most of the time, which means no showers or toilets. Sometimes even our electricity didn't work. I remember having sleepless nights because it was so cold in the house, and I didn't have anything to keep me warm. The house was infested with fleas and ticks, so bug bites covered my legs and arms. They never seemed to go away. I got lice almost twice a year. Dog poop was on the floor throughout the house. Once I even threw up, and it stayed on my living room floor for a month. The floors were covered with clutter to the point you couldn't walk without stepping on something. The kitchen sink was never to be seen because of piled up dishes put there years ago. We never had food at home to eat either. I remember going days without eating or eating very little. I do not know how to explain in words to you the way my body felt without food. My insides just stopped. They would not function, and I formed several health problems from this lack of nutrition at my development ages that still affect me to this day. My dad worked long hours, so I didn't see him very often. To be honest, I'm not even sure if he was at work. I just know he was never home. He suffered from depression and was an alcoholic. If I came home during the daytime, it wasn't so bad. But if I came home during the night, he was typically drunk. I would wake up to my dad hitting me over and over again. On top of all those bug bites I had, now I had bruises as well. I formed a sleeping disorder, and I still have it to this day. I did not feel safe in my own home, not even to sleep. I never really understood why I had to go through this. I told myself that I guess it was easier for my dad to do things in the dark, where the secrets of the world happen, than in the light where the world could see. I remember my mom the most because she was home more often. But that doesn't mean she was looking after me. She did not care if I was hungry. I had 1 or 2 uniforms for school that I wore over and over again because she never gave me clothes. I was failing a lot of my classes and missed school quite often because she did not care about my education. She didn't really look after any of us at all. She got high with her side boyfriend on the day she skipped work. She only thought of herself. My mom's life would not change if I did not exist, it seemed. My mom suffered from bipolar and a lying disorder. And when both of my parents were in one room, things would be thrown and yelling would occur. I remember always getting a sick feeling in my stomach and just wanting to disappear to a different place. I felt so alone, and I thought anywhere would be better than here. I would curl up into a ball in my bed and hold myself because nobody else would. I just needed to be comforted. I could not rely on anyone for what I needed. I only had myself. I was neglected physically and emotionally. The harmful words they spoke to me, I can still remember to this day. Being told that I am worthless. Being told to go away because I am not wanted. Being told that I will not amount to anything in life. My parents told me that I am not loved. Friends come and go, but I always thought family was forever. That no matter what, your family was there for you. But I never achieve it though, no matter how hard I tried. I was a failure. I was not good enough. I was not good enough to be a part of a loving family or even to be cared for. I would never succeed, and I might as well give up because I don't deserve to live. I had suicidal thoughts for the first time around 5 years old, and it just got worse from there. Negative thoughts about myself would swarm in my head. When I was in the 3rd grade, my parents started to have more and more problems with each other. They decided they were going to have a divorce so they could have a new start to life. The only problem was they had 4 kids to drag into it. They both decided they weren't going to keep us around. So foster care became my likely future. If I went there, I would be separated from my siblings. My future would change dramatically. I would have even less opportunity of a good life than I did before. Once my grandparents heard about what they were going to do, they quickly took us in. This was the point in my life where I began to improve, but it got worse before it got better. By this time, I formed PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and I would hear someone talk in a normal setting, and a word would automatically trigger a distressing experience. The memories were so realistic, as if it was happening right then and there. The real world would just disappear. I had to relive these awful things over and over again. I would have panic attacks, often where I struggled to breathe or even move. Also, my self-esteem was at 0. I did not feel precious like I knew God made me. I thought there was something wrong with me. All of my energy was used to try and fix myself. I did not think anyone cared, so I typically kept all my thoughts and opinions to myself. And it all began to pile up. I would not rely on anyone for help, not even God. I talked to him when I was really happy or on my average days, but I isolated myself on my awful days. I thought God did not want me on my sad days because nobody else seemed to. I did not want to be inconvenient to him or anyone else. When I isolated myself, it gave me more time to think, which is definitely not a good thing. I became more and more emotional. I could not stop myself from sobbing most days. I had to hold my hands together and close my eyes to stop myself from seeing or grabbing the closest harmful object to end it all then and there. No matter how tempting it was, I could never leave myself to do it. On the outside, I tried to hide what I was feeling. I disguised it the best that I could. I did not want anyone to know I was upset because there was not a way to fix it. I was broken. I did not see a hope for myself or my future. It came to the point where I knew something needed to change. I felt something inside of me that didn't want to let go, but I knew if I went on like this any further, I would not be here today. Piety is when you depend on God for guidance in all things, especially the ones you can't control. We come to him completely open to his will. Fear of the Lord is not what you might think. We do not fear him because he's scary, but because of the wonderful miracles he can perform in each one of our lives. It can put you at awe and wonder if you truly think about the things he does for us. In Isaiah chapter 26, verse 4, it says, "Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord is an eternal rock." Through piety, I have learned to talk to him constantly throughout the day. It's not easy for me, and I continue to struggle with it. cannot find a single way to stop. As soon as I pray to God, I feel a peace in my heart. Not only did I need to begin to communicate with others and God, but I needed to get rid of my negative thoughts that were taking away my joy. I've worked on thinking positively about myself and seeing that God has put good things in my life. I have a bad habit of applying things from my past to what's happening now, and that's only me thinking irrationally. Just because I was unloved by some does not mean everyone's going to feel the same way. I am loved. It's all in having the right perspective. In Psalms chapter 32, verse 11, it says, "Be glad in the Lord and rejoice, you righteous. Exult, all you upright of heart." I was given new lenses to see the world through, and I became at awe at all the small things God has distributed throughout my life. I see more of God's beauty in the world now. I see so much to be thankful for with God by my side, like when someone's asking how I'm doing. When I start to think of my past, he seems to bring something to my attention, like my brother asking if I want to watch a movie to remind me that I should rejoice in what he's given me. I work on seeing my past as a blessing instead of a tragedy because it was a learning experience. I truly realize what I now have, like a new home, because I know how bad it can be. I thank God for giving me this new insight, and I pray I will continue to think positively. Piety in all of the Lord is what I'm working for. I trust God now with a lot, and I'm continually working towards relying on him more. I will continue to go through bad circumstances, because life is a trial, but that doesn't mean I'm doing it alone. He's always there for me. It isn't easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. Life is hard, but with God by my side, my burdens become lighter. My song is born by 10th Avenue North because oftentimes I feel so weak and tired that I just want to give up. But when I put it in God's hands, everything will work out the way it needs to. I just have to remind